In the heart of the galaxy's grandest museum, an artifact floated in a stasis field, a sword said to be older than the Milky Way itself. Entire civilizations made pilgrimages to see it, believing it was a relic from before the stars were born. But when a human captain laid eyes on the blade, he didn't bow in awe. He chuckled, shook his head, and said, "That's from my graduation." In that instant, the galaxy's most treasured mystery shattered, and humanity's legend only grew. If that twist already has you hooked, you're going to love the full story. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss more wild HFY tales where humans turn the galaxy upside down. And hey, share this with a friend who appreciate the idea of a graduation gift causing an interstellar crisis. Let's dive in. The Zapirian Museum of Galactic Antiquities was the kind of place that made even the most advanced civilizations feel small. Its crystalline walls stretched so high they seemed to scrape the void itself. Inside, entire cultures' histories floated behind shimmering energy fields. Artifacts from empires long gone, relics said to predate suns, moons, and even galaxies. Visitors from 17 star systems flocked here to stand in the presence of what they were told was time itself, crystallized into objects. And today, the museum guide was eager to show two human guests its crown jewel. Ambassador Emma Chen walked with calm dignity, her every movement trained by years of diplomacy. Beside her strolled Captain Jackson Rodriguez, a man who looked like he belonged anywhere but a museum, broad-shouldered, weathered, and with a gaze that had seen too much war. Their guide, Veltar, swayed on jointed tentacles, his four eyes glittering as he spoke through his translator. "We have reached our most prized possession," Veltar announced, his tone hushed with reverence. All eyes in the hall turned toward a central stasis display. Suspended within the shimmering field was a simple steel longsword. No jewels, no alien runes, just a blade with a leather-wrapped hilt and a modest crossguard etched with a crest. "This," Veltar said proudly, "is older than your spiral galaxy itself. Scientists have dated it to over 13.7 billion years. Gasps rippled across the alien crowd. But the humans? They froze for a very different reason. Emma blinked once, her diplomat's composure cracking. Jackson, however, took a step forward. He tilted his head, squinted at the emblem, and let out something between a laugh and a sigh. "That's from my graduation." The words hung in the air like a detonation. Veltar's tentacles stiffened mid-sway. The translator sputtered. "I beg your pardon, Captain Rodriguez?" Jackson pressed his face closer to the energy barrier, his reflection shimmering against the blade. "West Point Military Academy, class of 2387. We each got one of these ceremonial swords. Look at the crest on the guard. An eagle. That's the Academy insignia." Silence. Pure, heavy silence. Until the crowd began to stir. Insectoid klaxons clicked their mandibles in agitation. Ethereal beings pulsed through colors of confusion and curiosity. Even the floating security drones drifted nearer, uncertain if this was blasphemy, comedy, or outright scandal. Emma leaned in, whispering sharply, "Jackson, perhaps we should discuss this privately." But Jackson wasn't listening. With the casual stubbornness only a human could muster, he reached into his jacket. "I've still got mine." And just like that, he pulled out an identical sword. The air filled with the buzzing of security drones instantly locking onto him. Jackson, unfazed, shrugged. "Ceremonial only. Haven't drawn it in decades." Veltar's skin flushed an alarming shade of purple-red. "Security," he barked. "Please remain calm. Captain Rodriguez, how is this possible? Our dating methods are precise." Emma jumped in, her voice smooth, her tone diplomatic. "Your dating methods measure the age of the material itself, not the object. The iron came from stellar cores, iron that is billions of years old, yes, but the sword was forged much more recently." The crowd buzzed louder. Alien patrons leaned closer. The klaxons clicked faster. The ethereals pulsed in quick staccatos of intrigue, and Jackson, ever the soldier, explained it bluntly. "Earth's been mining dead stars for centuries. Best steel in the galaxy comes from stellar cores. Sure, the iron's ancient, but this sword, forged about 40 years ago. The words crashed into the crowd like a meteor. Feltar shook, his translator struggling to keep up. But the quantum resonance, the temporal signatures, they all indicate this blade has existed unchanged for billions of years. Emma nodded patiently, choosing her words carefully. Think of it this way. If you carve a statue from billion-year-old stone, the statue itself isn't ancient. The stone is. Same principle here. Humans simply work with materials that have a long history. The aliens murmured, their confusion deepening. The security drones hovered, unsure whether they were preventing theft, fraud, or something stranger. And then Jackson held his sword side by side with the one behind the barrier. He tapped the hilt. Same grip, synthetic leather, standard issue, same balance point too. Check under the tang. You'll find the manufacturer's mark, Terraforge, Luna Colony 7. The tension grew unbearable, and just then, a new voice boomed across the chamber. Would someone explain, it thundered, why half my museum's security system is currently active? The crowd parted. Curator Zexai, a crystalline giant refracting the museum's lights, glided forward with the slow, steady authority of someone who had dealt with fools before, but never with humans like these. Emma straightened. Jackson tightened his grip on his sword. The galaxy's greatest museum was about to find out what it meant to underestimate humanity. The crystalline curator loomed over the gathering, his body refracting light into 1,000 dazzling shards. His voice was deep, resonant, carrying both irritation and curiosity. Explain yourselves, Zexai demanded. Emma bowed with practiced grace. Curator, there is no deception. The sword is genuine, just not ancient in the way you believe. Feltar, the guide, quivered in confusion, his colors flickering in frantic patterns. But we acquired this relic from the legendary explorer Ketmore. He claimed it was discovered in ruins older than the galaxy itself. Jackson barked out a laugh. It startled the crowd, and the translator struggled to render it, spitting out something that sounded halfway between a growl and a song. Aliens stiffened, unsure if it was a threat or celebration. Ketmore? Jackson shook his head, grinning. That guy's a fraud. Tried selling us ancient Earth relics once. Turned out to be souvenir spoons from the Mars gift shop. You bought his story? Emma's lips twitched, but she held her composure. It is true, Curator. He has been banned from 17 systems for artifact fraud. Gasps rippled again. Even the normally stoic Klaxons clicked their mandibles in a staccato rhythm that Emma realized was laughter. The ethereal beings pulsed in brilliant waves of humor. The Curator dimmed, his crystalline glow cycling through muted shades of embarrassment. You mean to tell me our centerpiece exhibit, our galaxy's most celebrated artifact, is a graduation present? Jackson slid his sword back into its sheath. A nice graduation present, to be fair. They cost about 2,000 credits apiece. Expensive because of the stellar core iron. But ancient? Nah, I probably lost one just like that in a poker game on Titan Station. The aliens stared at him. The absurdity was too much to contain. The great relic of ages reduced to a trinket of human ceremony. But Emma knew this was a dangerous moment. Humiliation could sour into anger, and anger into conflict. She raised her voice, calm but firm. The sword is older than the galaxy, she said, choosing her words carefully. Because of its material. Humans mine iron from dead stars, from stellar cores billions of years old. That age leaves a signature on the blade. What your scientists measured was not the craftsmanship, but the matter itself. A hush fell again. The aliens leaned closer, processing her words. You see, she continued, humans have a simple philosophy. Why make new when old works better? We recycle the building blocks of the universe. Our swords, our rings. Even the buttons on our uniforms may contain matter forged in the first generation of stars. It is not magic. It is engineering. Zexai's crystalline form flickered, now brighter with what Emma hoped was amusement. So humanity casually reshapes the very remnants of creation into trinkets and tools? More or less, Jackson replied cheerfully. Though we save the really old stuff for special occasions. Graduation swords, wedding rings. The rest we make from younger materials, maybe only a few 100 million years old." The absurd understatement washed over the aliens like a tidal wave. The klaxons clicked furiously in laughter now. The ethereals pulsed bright in wild patterns of joy. Even the security drones hovered with a sort of mechanical confusion, no longer sure why they had been summoned at all. What had begun as a scandal was transforming into something else, something far more dangerous. Awe. Emma noticed it in their eyes. The aliens weren't laughing at humans anymore. They were marveling. Humanity, in its blunt practicality, had just rewritten the rules of history. The curator let out a slow, crystalline sigh. "Then we must change our exhibit description. From ancient weapon to... what? A human school trinket?" Emma smiled. "Keep it as it is. The sword is made from matter older than the galaxy." "That is true. Just note that it was crafted recently by human hands. That makes it even more remarkable." Jackson nodded, satisfied. "Besides, West Point doesn't mess around with quality. That sword will last longer than half the stars out there." As they walked away, Emma overheard Veltar already adjusting his spiel for a new group of visitors. "Behold," he declared proudly, "a fine example of humanity's unique practice of shaping primordial matter into ceremonial weapons. A blade born from the death of stars, repurposed for human tradition." Emma exhaled slowly, her diplomat's instincts relaxing. What had begun as a cultural disaster had turned into a moment of revelation. Humanity's reputation across the stars had just shifted. They weren't reckless primitives, they weren't naive newcomers. They were the species that treated the building blocks of existence as raw material for graduation gifts. And to the galaxy, that was more terrifying and inspiring than any myth. And there you have it, the sword older than the galaxy, revealed to be nothing more than a human graduation gift. What began as a galactic scandal ended as something far more profound. Proof that humanity's casual ingenuity could outshine even the universe, its deepest mysteries. Think about it. While other civilizations worshipped artifacts of impossible age, humans mined dead stars, melted the remains of suns, and forged them into swords, rings, and tools, not because they wanted to show off, but because to them it was simply practical. That's what makes HFY stories so powerful. Humanity doesn't just survive in the cosmos, we redefine it, bending the oldest laws of nature into something personal, something human. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tap that bell for more stories where humans flip the galaxy on its head. And share this one with a friend. After all, who wouldn't want a graduation gift made from the death of stars?